Okay, and welcome to another video. This video is going to be a lot more chill, a lot more relaxed. It's going to be more of a talk about the last week. I haven't done a video over the last week about any of the news that's happened, so that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. I'm going to be talking about the friendly that happened just the other day against Blackpool. I'm going to be talking about some incomings that have come to Leeds, that have arrived. Some possible outgoings that could happen in the next week as well. Um, and some of the news that's been said by Jesse Marsh after the friendly match against Blackpool the other day. So, thank you for coming on to the video. Thank you for joining, and I hope you enjoyed the video. So let's get right into it. So, the first bit of news. I think I'm going to talk about the two people we brought in, which is Tyler Adams, and we've also brought in Luis Sinistera. Two players, we'll start with Adams. I think he was the first player to come through the door officially. So he was a player that was wanted by Marsh ever since we started up in the transfer window, ever since we stayed up in the Premier League. And obviously he's part of the RB network, played in the RB network. He came from RB Leipzig, which Marsh previously managed, and he obviously thought he was a good player, otherwise we'd bring him to Leeds. An American international. Seems like we're bringing in the American talent. If they're good enough though, doesn't really matter where they're from. But we brought in Tyler Adams. He's a holding midfielder, most likely will be playing next to Mark Rocker as the more destroyer, combative midfielder. Mark Rocker I'll get onto in a bit. He actually played in that friendly against Blackpool earlier in the week. But getting back to Tyler Adams, he looks like a decent player. The trouble is the other option was Mo Kamara, who looked like a better player, a better overall player as well. And I don't think it was the money that made them go for the Tyler Adams deal, which was a bit cheaper than the Mo Kamara deal. But I think the Tyler Adams deal was ultimately decided on when Jesse Marsh wanted him. And if your manager wants someone in, you're not going to give him someone else, are you? That would just be a stupid, foolish idea, wouldn't it? So we brought in the guy that Jesse Marsh wanted, Tyler Adams. He's yet to be assessed, I suppose. We'll see him in pre-season. Most likely he is going to be going to Australia with the team. So we can kind of get a glimpse of what he's going to be like in the Premier League. The Premier League is coming up soon, thick and fast is coming up. The first game is against Wolves, I believe, on the 6th of August. So that's not that long away now, a few weeks away. It'll be a nice game to start off with. I think it's at home at Ellen Road, which is nice to have, first game at home. I think that also means our last game will be at home as well. I'm not entirely sure of that. But it'll be nice to see how some of these players get on in pre-season, see how they develop and see how they work in the system. Most of them should work. Tyler Adams, Aronson and Christensen also being in that RB network, so they should be used to Jesse Marsh's system playing under him already. The other player, Luis Sinistera, he is a winger. Can play maybe a bit more forward, maybe as like a shadow striker kind of, or an inverted winger. But he kind of looks like the replacement we've come up with for Rafinha, which we'll get onto as well in a minute. Rafinha looks to maybe try and seal the deal by the end of the week. But bring back to Luis Sinistera, he is a Colombian winger from PSV. I think the deal was around £25 million. I'm not too sure on that, but the deal was like most deals that we've done are in euros with the clubs that we've done. So, but it was a deal that kind of came out of nowhere. Literally an hour after I filmed the last video, that deal came up. And obviously I couldn't get it in, but I've got it in this one. It tells you really how kind of transfer news works. I looked on my phone straight away after that video and that was the first thing I saw. Kind of annoying, but we've got it in this video and it's a better kind of setting to talk about it here because this is more of a talking video. It's going to be a bit longer than the other videos that I've done before. But yeah, he looks like a good player. He's a winger, which is slightly weird considering we don't know if we're going to be playing wingers under his system, but maybe he might work in a 4-2-3-1 system. Maybe that's the route we're going down, who knows, but we've still got players like Dan James and Jack Harrison who play on the wing, I suppose, so we still have a lot of wingers, and we still have Rafinha, of course, depending on whether he goes or not. But it looks like he might be, which we'll get onto now. Rafinha, he was back in training on the game at Blackpool. I think he's only training on his own now because the team are already out, going to Australia by the time I film this. They might already be out there. But yeah, he's at 4 Parks training, but most likely I think we've heard that he will be moving on in the next week, either to go to Barcelona, or I believe I saw something that said that Barcelona have 48 hours to have a deal agreed with Leeds, otherwise they will open talks back with Chelsea, and Rafinha will go to Chelsea, which is kind of what we want. We prefer to go to Chelsea than Barcelona, and I suppose in a way if Leeds have heard that, maybe they try and not get a deal. That sounds stupid, but I know I'd rather him go to Chelsea at the moment, considering they're going to give us the money. But yeah, that deal looks to be kind of developing over the next week, whether he goes Barcelona, whether he goes Chelsea. I'd rather him go, to be honest. Not, of course, he's a brilliant player. I'd love him to stay, but at the moment, his heart's probably not in it with our club anymore. And I'd rather us be able to have the money to get in other options in the next month or so that's left left of the transfer window. So that's just a few things with transfers. We obviously played Blackpool in a friendly the other day. It obviously you can't get too carried away. It's a friendly and it's only against Blackpool. To be fair, we did play a decently strong squad, so you'd expect us to win. We did win the game 4-0 in the end. 3 of the goals coming in the first half, so take from that what you will. But we started off decently. Standout players, Mark Rockall was good on the ball. I think he only played a half though, so again, make of that what you will. Firpo also played well. Again, I think he only played the half, but he played well in the half that he was on. I think he got a goal and assist in that. The goals came from Robin Koch, obviously Firpo, Rodrigo, and I think it was Joseph that got the other goal. So an interesting friendly. To be honest, I didn't watch too much of it because I wasn't that bothered about it. I know you've got it, it's kind of Leeds, but it was only a friendly against Blackpool. I would hope we'd be winning that game, especially with the squad we put out anyway. It was a strong squad. That's the first kind of friendly that we've had of the pre-season. There was one with Stoke that was behind closed doors that no one heard about, and apparently Bamford scored, I don't know. But coming off that friendly, Jesse Marsh said a few things. Apparently Firpo has a little niggle kind of thing, so he's not going on the Australian tour, which means we've only got one left back, which is Leif Davis going on tour. But it's maybe just precautionary. He'll be set by the start of the season. But that's just an interesting one. It kind of tells you we do need a left back to bring in, which is kind of getting a bit frustrating. We need that left back, experienced goalkeeper, and the striker. So the 3 positions we need left, and I think that's why we're trying to get Rafinha to go now, so we can take that money and spend it while we've still got time left too. It doesn't have to be a first team option left back. I know Firpo's not the best, but even if it's someone that we could replace him with, that's a viable option, because he's already got a niggle, which is not going to help us for the start of the season. Already he's got an injury, slight, but an injury. Maybe if this was in the season, if he misses a game, we've got to play a left back in Leif Davis that's got no Premier League experience at all, which is not what you want. And the player we bring in might not necessarily have any Premier League experience, but at least there'll be a better quality. Leif Davis was barely getting started. I don't think he even was getting started for Bournemouth. Not often at all. I don't think he started many games. I didn't really look at it, to be honest, because I've kind of forgot he was at Bournemouth, and we were in a bit of a situation ourselves, weren't we? But the summer's going not too bad so far. We've signed some good players. We've brought some good players in that I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm not going to judge them so far. I'm not going to get excited about it because, last time we got excited about some players we brought in, Dan James especially, because Bielsa wanted him so much, and he was okay, but definitely not worth the price that we paid for him. And obviously Firpo has been a bit of a liability at times. He's not been the greatest signing either. So we get excited, but be cautionary, I would say, with the players we've brought in. You know, it's not it's not known whether they're going to work or not. We'll get to see them in pre-season, how they get on with the system, how they work with the rest of the team, the new players. But yeah, it's been an alright summer. We just need to keep that rolling, get the remainder 3 players, I would say, in that we need. Well, we'll take it up to about 8 players we've brung in. Also, we rang Giarbi, but he won't be in the first team. But that, I think that would be a very good transfer window. So far, it's been okay, but we need to keep it going. But other than that, haven't got a lot of news for you. Hopefully look out for that Rafinha deal. Hopefully that might be done by the end of this week time. Maybe even sooner than that. We've got some friendlies coming up maybe in the next week or so, I think. And maybe look for some more incomings that we might bring in. I'd say more so after the Rafinha deal's done, so we have that money locked in and we know that he's going to be going, so we can bring in the replacements and the players that we want in case. Anyway, thank you for watching. That's been kind of my news of the week on transfers. Obviously the friendly, some outgoings that might or might not happen, most likely are going to happen. But thank you for watching, coming along and enjoying the video. And hopefully I'll come out with a new video soon if there is that news from Rafinha. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.